Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I'm Ryan in Singapore. Welcome to our mindfulness practice. We're talking about the pillars of mental health, and boy, I just exercise and moving my body helps me so much to work through when there are challenging times. And I have to say, recently there's been, in the last couple weeks, just noticed the kind of the grind of day to day has really been grinding on me, and it just seeing how I'm seeing kind of the long term effect of what's happening day to day. And this is one of the joys of mindfulness practice, watching my mind, right? I do meditate every day, and using the meditation to kind of go, oh, to really face that reality that this is how I am today, and not to hide that or not to deny that, because I feel I'm much more equipped to really deal with my day-to-day life when I know where I am, and then I'm honest with myself when it's a tough time. So, know that, right? That's what your practice is for. And it's just funny to see these ebbs and flows, and it's a time where I'm just what is it, one day at a time. So welcome everybody. We'll go ahead and get into our topic of today here shortly. Let me kind of preface it. So today's topic is silence and stillness. And we've been talking a little bit about how to meditate. We've been going back to the basics, seeing some of the basic things that meditation does. And so as a beginner meditator, one of the recommendations is to find a place where you won't be interrupted, where you won't have a lot of audio distractions, so that you can find a place and a way to meditate in silence. And I can tell you that as your meditation practice develops, you don't have to continue, and you can experiment with going into noisier places to do your meditation. But there's a reason that we start in silence, and partially because meditation's hard. Meditation isn't always relaxing. Although I know that's one of the reasons a lot of us come to our practice, is because there is a chance that meditation is going to be relaxing, and it can be rewarding and help you come back to the cushion next time if you find that your practice helps to make you feel more relaxed or less stressed in the moment. Now, when I practice, I recognize that very often my practice is not peaceful or relaxing, and that's just due to the nature of my mind. I have a very active mind that's wandering all the time and thinking about all kinds of stuff that I don't really want to be thinking about. And my mind never asks my permission, by the way, before it thinks these thoughts. It just does it. And so I come from the point of experience of a person who usually meditation isn't relaxing for. So, but as I reflect back on the beginning of my practice, I do remember a lot of times where meditation is relaxing. And not to say that meditation isn't relaxing these days, it just kind of doesn't tend to be, because of the restlessness of my mind. And so silence can really help in that you can, instead of easily being distracted by what's going on outside, sounds that may cause thoughts to happen. Imagine meditating with the TV on, right? If the television is on, and let's say you're facing the television. If you're facing the television and the television is on, even though your eyes are closed, maybe do that as an experiment. How many times during the meditation do you open your eyes and look at the television, right? You'll see that this external, although the idea of the meditation is to go inward and to see what's going on inside, it's pretty hard not to let the external world have any effect on you whatsoever. And so this is kind of the idea around silence, is to help to minimize these external distractions that might bring you away. Because, hey, if you're like me, your mind's going to bring you away an awful lot all by itself. I don't need additional things on the outside to bring my mind away even more. So this is really kind of the core idea around meditating in silence. And I mean, I know we like, because everybody's here on Insight Timer, one of the things that you might like about Insight Timers, there is all of these guided meditations to help keep you focused. And so, this is useful, and I've used them. I certainly do use them sometimes, especially when I'm having a lot of trouble concentrating. Right? Is that the guided meditation helps bring me back to what I'm trying to focus on faster than if I were meditating in silence, in complete silence. So, have you ever experimented with meditating in complete silence and just seeing if you can focus on physical sensations in the body and thoughts, emotions, to just really focus on what's happening in the present? And so that's really what our meditation is going to be like today. I'll give a little bit of guidance as we get started, some instructions, and then we'll go into a period of complete silence just to see what that space is like and what it's like to meditate in there. Because not only will you find that the external distractions decrease, but as the external distractions decrease, very often the internal distractions increase, right? And so you might be able to tap into things that are deeper down, that as you're distilling yourself in this mindfulness practice, you might be able to see it's like watching a pot of boiling water. As it starts to boil, these little bubbles right at the bottom of the pot are coming up, and they're not even fully making it to the top. These really small bubbles, these small thoughts, maybe they turn up in volume so that you can really see some of the things that are down inside the core of your mind and your emotions. And we use the body as an anchor. So I'll give you the instructions when we get into our period of meditation. So that's silence. Stillness is completely different, in fact. So stillness is this kind of resolving not to move while you're meditating. So to choose your posture at the beginning of your meditation, to settle into that posture, and to do your best to stay in that posture. And so it's different, but has some similarities. So I'll kind of explain a little bit what those similarities are in a moment. But first, one of the reasons to stay still is that you'll find that sometimes staying still helps to aid in that relaxation process. That as you don't move, as you do focus in on how the body feels, you can begin to relax. And so that is one of the things that can be very helpful in the meditation. And so helping to relax by not constantly fidgeting around. And so that's something that you can notice as you begin to, at the beginning of the meditation, take note of the posture in a lot of its detail. Like how exactly am I sitting right now, and can I remember that as I go on? The other thing as well is that as we're sitting still, we'll notice that sometimes stiffness arises in the body, or a strong desire to move arises in the body. And, we can watch that process as part of our mindfulness practice because, no surprise perhaps, that when strong emotions come up, they also follow a similar process. So if you can begin to notice your own physical restlessness, you may also begin to become more aware of the restlessness of the mind and the body. So staying still and allowing the body to become still, in fact, encourages the stillness of the mind as well. So we'll see that as we're not moving and fidgeting around, that also the mind starts to become a little bit more calm and focused as well. And you will notice one more thing, which is that every time that we make a voluntary movement, there is a thought that directly precedes that movement. So if I'm going to, move my hand from here to here, there's a process that happens in my mind before this happens, right? So my mind is telling me kind of ahead of time, hey, I want to move my hand upwards, right? And so that is that conscious engagement. And so when we are still in our practice, we'll find that letting go of this conscious engagement makes room and makes space for more of this subliminal and subconscious mind to begin to bubble up, right? And so this is, there's really some rich excavation that can be done in our practice when we start to get deeper into our own minds. And so silence is one way to do it. Stillness and resolving to be still in our practice by not engaging the conscious mind. And also, when you feel that discomfort, the process that you can go through to examine the discomfort without moving, right? And I'm not encouraging you to try to sit through excruciating pain, but to know that, what is it that I'm feeling? You ask yourself that question. What is this sensation? Maybe the word that I default to is pain. Is that truly what it is, or is that just what I default to in this moment? So that's the idea of this practice, to encourage exploration both through silence and through stillness. And thanks everybody for your interaction in the chat. And as I'm definitely going to talk about what's in the chat, but first we're going to go ahead and get into our meditation practice. So we'll wait until the end to cover what's in the chat there. Thanks again. And so let's get into our meditation. And so I'd encourage you to choose a posture that's going to be relaxing, yet helping you to stay alert. So I have a cushion that I'm sitting on that's elevating my hips slightly. My legs are crossed. Today I'm sitting in the Burmese style, which I guess we might cover next time. You can allow your hands to rest on your knees or in your lap. I would encourage you to bring your back away from the backrest if you're sitting. This will help to encourage alertness. And over time, we'll strengthen the back muscles so that this process becomes easier, but you will find that it does help. And as you become more familiar with this posture, relaxation also can become a natural part. Crown of the head towards the ceiling. Your chin's roughly parallel to the ground. Lips are closed. Tongue resting on the roof of the mouth, maybe the tip of the tongue touching the front of the palate, just behind the front teeth. See if you can relax your face. Just be aware of any tension you may have in your face. And see if through that awareness the face can relax. Notice the muscles around the eyes. Notice the eyebrows. Notice the jaw. So I always try to let my teeth hang just maybe 1 or 2 millimeters away, my jaw, so that there's no tendency to want to clench my teeth as the meditation goes on, because that sometimes happens without even realizing it. That subconsciously, as maybe tension builds, we want to smash our teeth together. See if you can intentionally part your teeth, allow the jaw to relax. Notice the sensations in the shoulders. Sometimes I roll my shoulders a few times to help to let go of any tension that might be there. If you like, you can allow your eyes to close. And so here we go. This is our posture. And I just want to kind of give a disclaimer, not to judge yourself harshly if you're not sitting in this exact posture. There are plenty of good postures for meditation. Okay, this is just one of them. And if you're really tired today and you can't sit up, is it okay to lie down? Sure. So find what's right for you today. A posture that combines relaxation and alertness is what we're looking for. So you can close your eyes, or you could leave your eyes open. I encourage you, if you have your eyes open, to gaze maybe a 45-degree angle downwards. Notice the buttocks in contact with a cushion, or the chair, or the mat. All right, and so now, tuning into the physical sensations of the entire body. And, it's like taking a screenshot on your phone. Take a little screenshot of your body, the physical sensations of your body, what it feels like right now in this moment. Okay, this is your posture. This is the posture that you will resolve to be in throughout this meditation today. So if you find yourself not in this posture, this is one of the key indicators that your attention has wandered away. When your posture begins to crumble, when we start to hunch forward, you'll find also that the meditation changes, that the quality of attention also begins to crumble. So you can constantly come back to the body. If you feel yourself different from that screenshot you took, see if you can come back. Come back to the way that you remembered it in this moment. And so, although we have resolved to stay still, you will notice that the body can't stay completely still because you have to breathe. And so this gentle rising and falling of the chest, the expansion and contraction of the abdomen, the air moving through the nostrils, These tiny involuntary changes in the body can be used as an excellent object, an excellent focus for your meditation. And I could talk a lot about why the breath is a good object. But just for now, take my word for it. So maybe choose one method of examining the breath as an anchor. So it could be the abdomen, maybe the nostrils. Just resolve that each time my mind wanders away, each time that I'm not focused on my body, I'm going to come back to examining the breath here. So maybe we get distracted by thoughts of things we need to do later in the day. Remember, that's normal. That's something that happens a lot during meditation for most of us. So just gently recognize the mind has wandered. Come back to the sensation of breath. Notice the details around it. Stretching of the abdominal wall, the gentle brushing of the t-shirt against the skin. Whatever it is that can help you to stay focused on the breath. And then if throughout this practice you find at some point you become uncomfortable, zero in the mind onto that discomfort. Allow that to be your object of meditation and explore it fully. Find out what it is. Don't mindlessly move the body to make that discomfort go away. Use it as an object of meditation to understand yourself more, to understand your reaction to physical discomfort, which has a relationship to your reaction to emotional discomfort. And then, after you've fully explored it, with mindfulness, decide to move. And if you decide to move with intention, with mindfulness in each and every second that your body becomes unstill. So the period of silence will begin in a few moments, and it will last for around 10 minutes. I'm going to turn my mic off, so the sound will be different. So just be ready for that. There's nothing wrong with your computer or your hand phone or your mobile phone. And so in about 10 minutes, I'll give you a verbal cue that we're ending, and then after that verbal cue, I'll ring the bell 3 times. And the period of silence begins now. Okay, we'll slowly transition out of this period of silent practice and begin to transition back into kind of this other state of mind. And so I'll close practice with 3 rings of the bell. Okay. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for spending this time of silence with me and for supporting each other by being here for that as well. How'd your practice go today? What did you notice? What came up? Was this harder than usual? Was this easier than usual? Was this peaceful? Was this tumultuous? What was it like? Thanks, Caesar. I'm going to go ahead and look at the chat. I have some I've interesting how my meditation went. I'll tell you a bit about that. Jean says sounds are in the present, not like TV, which if it's on, like an airplane flying over, it comes and then it goes away, right? And so this is, I'm, this is kind of the debate, and you'll find that Zen meditation wants you to meditate with your eyes open, whereas like Theravada, like the Thailand style, we meditate with our eyes closed. And so, what's the difference is that one of the things that one of the justifications is that you can't close your ears, you can't close your sense of touch, you can't turn off any of your other senses, so why would you turn off your sense of sight? So I agree with you in that these are happening all the time, that sounds are constantly coming in, and that there's no reason to necessarily block them out, but the And if an airplane flies over, like what are you going to do, right? Like that's there, and and the fact that you have dedicated yourself to silence might make that airplane even louder for you. You know what I mean? And so that's kind of the idea here. Is like is it okay to block out these senses in the spirit of going deeper into our meditation? And so again, I think the answer is always try it out. Try it out for yourself. Have some, wear noise canceling headphones once while you're meditating. What's that like? Maybe then you're, and I hesitate to say this because then this might be your thought. My ears are hot now, and then you get fixated on the feeling of your ears being hot. So. I think that's it, is that as I reflect back on the beginning of my own practice, I found that I was extremely rigid into what meditation meant and what I had to do to be meditating. And I think the more that the years that I've been practicing, I find that like that's a lot less true. And I really kind of overdid it on what I thought meditation has to be, that meditation actually can be a lot more than what this little teeny tiny box that I said, okay, I have to do, it has to be like this, right? Which is hilarious because that's actually the exact opposite of the spirit of meditation. The spirit of meditation isn't, it has to be like this. It is like this now. Let's explore that. This is what it's like now. Patricia says, completely different experience in silence and using guided meditation. Yeah. Helps to be warm enough when you're coming into stillness, for sure. It's hard to focus when you're cold, and maybe this is something I'm sweating, so it's always I need to remember sometimes to encourage that, because in stillness you will definitely decrease your temperature. When I was in New York with John Kabat-Zinn on that retreat in September, that was something that I noticed. I'm like, I did not bring enough clothing here. Like, even my blanket is not enough to keep warm. I think not only did I use my blanket, but I borrowed 2 more blankets to stay warm. Caesar says, peaceful but difficult to concentrate on only silence. Cece says, wow, harder to do it silent, distracted by hearing my heartbeat, right? And that's one that noise-canceling headphones won't get rid of either. And maybe the question is, can you incorporate that into your meditation, right? We're using breath. Breath is because it's regular. It's something that's changing. It's something that's moving all the time. Your heartbeat is a good object of meditation. If you can feel your heartbeat, if you can hear your heartbeat, great. Use that. Focus on that. That can be the new object. Jean says, I noticed some self-judgment at first. I wasn't able to keep my intention of stillness. I found myself saying, you failed, and then realized I was judging. And remember as well that there is no way to fail the meditation, right? That if you are aware of that judging thought that says you failed, you have ironically succeeded, right? I mean, that's really that's the amazing part, right? If you notice the thought that says you failed, then congratulations, that's the success. I scratch my cheek rather than sitting with the urge, that's okay. So the best scenario is that you can recognize it and that you don't just do it automatically, right? That the hand doesn't just kind of wander up here by itself. That you go, oh, wait a minute, there's an itch on my cheek. I'm going to scratch. Okay, I'm aware that it's there. It's bothersome, and I'm going to scratch it right now. I did have a lot of distractions of sound and stillness, mostly the usual suspects. So, yeah, in airplanes, having that's why Frank's not. I don't do these with Frank in the room. Maybe he comes in afterwards. Frank's my cat, by the way, for those of you who maybe it's your first time here, and so he shows up in cameos a lot, but he's not here today. I'll share with you what happened in my meditation. Yesterday, I had a conversation with a friend about, he's found a group of Zen practitioners to practice with, and then yesterday I went to the oldest Thai temple in Singapore to try to find where there are some other places to meditate, so I can also meditate in person with a group of people. And I found, kind of hilariously, that my mind wandered backwards in time to that conversation with him, and then forwards in time to future meditations I might do elsewhere, which is really funny because that meant I'm not meditating right now, or I'm not focused on my body right now. I guess I am meditating because I became aware of those thoughts. But it's just funny that the distraction of meditation was meditation, right? So I guess that's how it goes sometimes. All right. Thanks, everybody, for being here. Welcome. If it's your first time here, you can help me out by following me on Insight Timer, listening to my recordings when I'm not doing live practices, especially listening to my premium tracks. That helps me a lot. You can also donate if you like. Join Ryan's Daily Mindfulness Circle on Insight Timer groups for more sharing and more meditations. And I'll be back on Tuesday. So my time, maybe that's Monday night for you. Look forward to seeing you then. Let's close our practice the way that we do, with some well wishes to ourselves and well wishes to everyone else. So always starting with self, for many reasons. Follow along if you like. May I be happy and peaceful. May everyone watching, listening now, wherever you are, I wish you all happiness and peace. And may all human beings on this planet of ours, whatever country they're in, whatever their mental and physical state may be, may we all be happy and peaceful. Thanks so much. See you next time. Bye-bye.